So as per federal regulations and also just for safety reasons, as the pilot and command, we're required to brief our passengers on a few certain things before takeoff, just as when you're taking off on in a commercial airliner. One of them is the operation of seatbelts. So we're required to instruct our passengers on the operation, how to use their seatbelts and when to wear them. As the pilot in command, I like to instruct passengers to basically wear them the whole time. Legally, passengers are only required to wear their seatbelts during taxi, takeoff, and landing. They're not required to wear shoulder harnesses, but as pilots or crew members, we're required to wear our seatbelts at all times, shoulder harnesses during taxi, takeoff, and landing. Another thing that I'll instruct you on is the doors and windows operation in this plane having a canopy. The canopy closes just by pulling it down. Watch your fingers. There's a handle lever between the two pilot seats, which will close to lock. The reverse is true to get out. Bring this up, open up the canopy. That's how our doors and windows operate. There is also a ballistic parachute in here. This red handle right on the center console. Never touch that unless the pilot authorizes it. Okay, another thing from a training standpoint that we're going to observe is what's called the sterile cockpit rule, which basically means that when we are in critical phases of flight, such as taxi, takeoff, and landing, that we're going to keep the conversation to a minimum. It's going to be strictly business. When we get up to cruise flight, it's okay. We can talk about what we did last night or sports scores, but again, keep conversation strictly business related when on the ground to increase safety. And lastly, the positive exchange of flight controls. Positive control of the aircraft will apply at all times. So your airplane, my airplane, your airplane, that three-step technique. And any other emergency procedures that may occur during the flight or on the ground, we'll do a pre-takeoff briefing before we get to take off the runway. But any emergency procedures, I will take controls. I'll have you help me with any checklist items. And that's our passenger briefing.